Welcome to Before You Back over here on Quack&Co, where in just 10 minutes we're going to take a look at every single campaign that crosses the 1,000 backer threshold and analyze it on a rating scale of 10 different categories. The publisher, the designer, the reviews, the production quality, the exclusives you'll get on Kickstarter, the savings you can expect from your pledge, the retail availability of the game, the general production schedule and when you think you can get the game into your hand, the overall value and whether or not it'll be able to be resold at a later point for at or more of your initial investment, and the final price, if they're going to be charging you extra in the Pledge Manager or not. This video series allows us to analyze a campaign and let you know if it's a secure back, a good back, or potentially a risky back. Today we're talking about Conan the Barbarian, specifically the Conan the Barbarian Red Nails expansion and versus mode from Monolith Games. Now, some important information about this game as we give you a quick overview of it. This is a massive game. It's actually the fourth campaign they've ran with this game, and all the other expansion content is not yet available. But there's important news. If you're looking for the other 4 big box expansions that were Kickstarter exclusive in the past, there will be a ranking or rating system over in the Pledge Manager to allow you to pick up some of those if there's enough demand, kind of a reprint to order availability. So if you are not interested in the new expansion, but you love Conan the Barbarian and you're looking for one of the older titles, that is going to be made available if enough people back and then vote in the Pledge Manager. That'll be open exactly 1 month after the campaign closes and will be open for 2 months for you to go ahead and put in your shipping, finalize your order, and get the game coming to your door. So, an overview of Conan the Barbarian. Conan the Barbarian is a scenario-based, semi-cooperative, asymmetric miniatures game. Yes, I did just steal that directly from BGG. It's the first thing I say about their game. This, so you know, is normally a one versus many, but it also has a solo mode and a cooperative mode where instead of having one person playing the villains and a group of people playing the heroes, you can actually go up against an AI-generated villain on various scenarios that you're playing. And this will be introducing a versus mode that allows you to do one controlling a horde versus another controlling a horde, summoning on and sending a big swath of people into the battlefield as opposed to one individual miniature or one individual hero. All these modes seem very compelling, and overall the game has a very solid rating, standing at 7.6 for the base game on BGG, with over 4,500 unique ratings. That is a very, very strong score. Along with that, the core gameplay flow is going to be primarily one-shot or one-scenario missions. The base game has 9 of those, and every expansion adds more of those for you to play, depending on how many you unlock during the campaign itself. You're going to be typically running an action management style game, where you have 2 actions, spend the resource you have, or your action points, to take various actions around the board based on the scenario and the type of heroes you're playing, or a rest action to allow you to recall and regroup all that energy, but at the sacrifice of a little bit of time and potentially some positioning. Both game modes, if you're playing the evil villains or the heroes, function differently, and they both have their own puzzle you want to solve, depending on what character you're going to be diving into. Along with that, this is very true to the original Conan the Barbarian genre. It's not based off of the third-party movies or other IPs that have been released, but the original graphic novels, I think, the original books, I'm very certain of, and the original lore. They even hired a professional expert of this genre of this title to dive in. I wish I was showing you more of this campaign. I really should have as I've been talking, but that does it for the overview. Let's go ahead and talk about the publisher. The publisher is going to be Monolith Games. They were originally launched in 2014, so they are 10 years old. They have all but one game currently delivered, which is going to be Batman Gotham City Chronicles, the 3rd edition or expansion, and they're well known for big box miniature games like a few of the other most well-performing Kickstarter campaigns or Kickstarter companies in this platform. They put out Batman, Conan, Claustrophobia, and Mythic Battles Arena, along with a number of other smaller titles, and tons of expansion content for all of these titles over the years. This game is, I gave the publisher a 10 out of 10. If you know what you're getting from them, you will not be let down. They have a good delivery record. They have a good track record for the games they produce. I will acknowledge, if you're the wrong backer for these games, They can at times be a lot of content, a lifestyle worth of board game, and you might not get it all to the table. So please do your due diligence before investing in a product like this, especially at this price tag, to determine whether or not you will in fact get this played. That is the big caveat. If you won't get this played, the publisher rating should really drop down to a 5. It's almost too much content to actually get to the table consistently and regularly unless you're very purposeful about it. But because of their reputation, their history, and their quality, I gave them a 10 out of 10. Moving on down, we're going to have to go quick through some of these. We have the designer, who's Fred Henry, best known for Batman Gotham City Chronicles as well, uses a very similar action point system there. I gave him an 8 out of 10. He's well known for these games, Conan and Gotham City Chronicles, both of which are very highly rated. His other games, which he has plenty of, don't typically have the strongest ratings on BGG, and none of them are household names yet. So a little bit of a ding there, but this is a well-known product. Moving on down to reviews, there are 0 reviewers on this campaign page, which is kind of expected. It's the 4th iteration. I do wish we had an opportunity to show off some of the new scenarios or the versus mode, for instance, but I understand why there's not prototypes and people covering this when it comes to the actual project. And I gave them a 6 out of 10. I'd like to see some feedback, some reviews, and some links to other content, but it is their 4th campaign in this world, and people know the game very well. Production quality, you give a 10 out of 10. If you know the publisher, you can look up how this is going to be produced, what it's going to be like. You can judge for yourself if it's deluxified or not, but they do a very nice job, and you can know exactly what to expect from them. As far as exclusives go, everything here is an exclusive. I gave them a 10 out of 10 in this category as well. From the base game, the Kickstarter stretch goals, to the unlockable projects, to even the expansion they're launching, this is all hard to get. So, yeah, very good. As far as savings go, they have a $99 King's Pledge, which I can scroll up here and take a look at. They also have a $238 Master Pledge that'll give you everything in this campaign along with the base game and the bonuses for the base game. The King's Pledge is not for this campaign. It's for the base game and the Kickstarter exclusives and upgrades to make your game fancy. That $99 King's Pledge is their best deal, standing at about $35. The one they're trying to sell you at the very end is going to be that $238, which is the Master Pledge. Both of those are very compelling. The Master Pledge will save you about $55 on the retail price of this game. Good question. Is it coming to retail? The answer is categorically no. However, some of this product may be available on their website, and some of the product may be available at conventions down the road. So if you can't buy it all right now, you might still have an opportunity to grab it, but don't rely on being in a friendly local game store or especially big box distribution. It's not designed for that. The schedule is, I gave them a 10 out of 10 on savings and a 10 out of 10 on retail. It's not going to retail. The schedule is for January 2025, so about a year from now. I gave them a 9 out of 10 here. They know what they're doing. However, they do have one project that's slightly delayed due to some development and production, timelines. And if that timeline gets shifted at all, they're going to run into the Chinese New Year when it comes to shipping, distribution, all that stuff, which might slow them down by a month or two. They do acknowledge there might be rolling distribution, which could extend the delivery date by a couple weeks in either direction, so keep that in mind. But overall, I trust they'll get it into your hands around when they say they will. As far as the value, this will absolutely hold its value with a caveat. I gave them an 8 out of 10 on this. If you're buying stuff that has been reprinted 4 times now, you might not be able to sell that at a higher value because it's kind of available and out there. There's 40,000 copies of this game out there in the world. However, the exclusive stuff will probably be harder to get. Moving on down to the final price, I gave them a 5 out of 10 on this one. I think they're going to sell you extra stuff in the Pledge Manager, whether that's through the vote that allows you to unlock the other big box expansions that you just have to back, or you do the King's Pledge thinking you're getting a deal and you toss in a few upgrades or an expansion along the way so you get as much content as possible. Overall, they're being transparent about it, but it is something to keep in mind. You also are looking at about $25 to $50 worth of shipping, and you will be paying VAT if you live in a country with VAT. They said they'd be very straightforward and clear about where that cost is coming from and how it's listed on your receipt. So the final score is going to be an 86 out of 100, which is an excellent, confident back. This publisher is well known, this game is well known, and this is a game that you can only really get through Kickstarter. So if you're considering it or you've already backed it, I'd say you're doing the right thing. Looking over this myself, I'm really, really, really tempted. But I don't know that I need a big box game, and I don't know that I could table it. So that's my only hesitation. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.